G'day Gear Junkies, Jason here. If I got to pick 5 bits of vintage gear that I would love to try, it'd be things like the original Univibe or the original Roland Dimension rack unit, and also the X100 Rockman headphone amplifier. Now, the original units came out in 1982 and they were the brainchild of guitarist and inventor Tom Scholz of the band Boston. 2 years later, in 1984, he released the X100 headphone amplifier. And this one was particularly popular, not just for bedroom guitarists, but it was also very popular with session players and touring bands to get their recorded tones, because it was just plug and play. It was so easy just to get a good tone just using this headphone amplifier. Guys like Joe Satriani, he brought that into the studio to do the Surfing with the Alien sessions, and the producer almost laughed at him. Late last year, MXR teamed up with Tom Scholz and they released the MXR Rockman X100. This is a pedal version of the old headphone amplifier. It's a direct box, so it is supposed to go directly either into a PA or into your recording interface to get instant classic 80s tones. But before I go too far, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. And if you want to support this channel, you can go to the Middle Aged Gear Junkie store and purchase some merchandise, or you could also support me through Patreon, where I'm uploading additional content and previews to my upcoming videos. Thanks a lot. So I'm going to go through all 4 modes of the Rockman. I'm going to play some classic tunes that were recorded using one, and I'm also going to play some other songs that may or may not have been recorded using a Rockman, but still sound really good using this device. I'm going to be using this modified Ibanez RG series for most of this video. It's modified because it has a Fernandez sustainer pickup in the neck position, which I made a whole video about a few weeks ago. Because the original Rockman was designed as a direct box, I'm going direct straight out of this into my DAW, so no amplifier in this demo. And I'm also running through the Digitech hardwire stereo reverb just for a bit of wetness. So with the pedal off, it's very, very flat and lifeless. So this is clean setting 2. As you can hear, once I clicked that on, it sort of brought that really dull, lifeless sound to life a bit with the reverb, which I have set to a gated reverb because remember, this is the 80s now. Now, because this has only got a few controls, it's very easy to explain how they work. So the output is obviously how much level is coming out of it. That's pretty self-explanatory. The other slider is the input gain. Now, when you're on one of the 2 clean modes, what it does, that actually controls how much compression is going on. So if I pull it right back, it's not very compressed, but if I slam it all the way up, it's very compressed. So it's very squished. So I'm running the compression about halfway. Probably the defining characteristic of the original Rockman was the onboard chorus, which is running in stereo, and it's just absolutely glorious. And this tone is basically your bass tone for all of your Def Leppard hysteria tones. If you're not after Def Leppard tones, it still does a great job of those super processed, direct, clean sounds that we used a lot in the 80s. we turn the chorus off, it reminds me of the clean tone that Steve Vai used for the song Sisters. If I hit the mode selector here, it will change it from clean 2 to clean 1. And I think this one's even more processed. It's got less bottom end and probably a bit more sort of chimey top end. It's almost like a simulation of a Vox AC30 to my ear. Whereas I think clean 2 is a bit more full sounding. This is almost certainly the clean tone that Joe Satriani used for Always With Me, Always With You. Def Leppard's producer was Mutt Lange, and he was the one that put them onto the Rockman and insisted that they use it for the Hysteria album. Now, he was also the producer of Bryan Adams, and with that bit of knowledge, when I hear the song Summer of '69 and I hear that clean guitar part, it makes me think that it's this exact tone. Now, I could be wrong about that, but I just think that it is highly likely that that's what they used. Now, you can also use this mode to play other classic, clean 80s riffs as well. Now, if I change to edge mode, so edge mode is the first of our two distortion circuits. This one is the lower gain of the two. Now, it's not a huge amount of gain. So all the way down, it's a raspy sort of sound. So I'm going to run that all the way up, but to me, this really sounds like Tom Scholz. It sounds like Boston. Apparently, ZZ Top also used the Rockman on the Eliminator album, which I will demonstrate a little bit later on. Now, distortion mode for me is the most fun. You just slam that input gain all the way up, turn on the chorus, and it is the sound of Hysteria. Not only is it the sound of Hysteria, it's the sound of Surfing with the Alien by Joe Satriani. It still sounds pretty cool with the chorus off. But it's just cooler with it on. What a lot of guys did in the studio is they blended the Rockman with their amplifier tone. So apparently ZZ Top used a Rockman for the recording of the album Eliminator. So I'm going to play the riff from Sharp Dressed Man. I'm going to split the signal, and one split is going to go to the Rockman, the other is going to go to my Marshall Plexi amplifier. You're going to hear the amplifier on its own, the Rockman on its own, and then the last example will be both blended together. A couple of years ago, I did a video called My Ultimate 80s Rig. And truth be told, I could replace most of the gear in that video with this and sound just as accurate. Now, I would still need delay and reverb from that video, but that's it. I wouldn't even need the amplifier. This thing does those sounds just so well. When I first started playing some Satriani on this thing, 15-year-old me just lost his mind. I just couldn't believe how much like Satch it sounded. Not my playing, obviously, but the tones sounded amazing. And also the Hysteria tones. Hysteria is my wife's favorite album. She's dragged me along to see Def Leppard a couple of times, and I really enjoyed playing some of those riffs using this. It sounds just like the recording to my ear. A lot of other artists use the Rockman as well. I know I only covered a couple of artists, but I think it does a really great job of just those really processed 80s guitar sounds. You don't have to have a rack full of gear to get those kind of tones, and I think that this was a really good idea. The downside of it, well, it has a control jack here so that you can flick between the modes with a foot switch, but my problem with that is that where I would have the input gain for both the clean and dirty channels is completely different, because I mean, with the drive sounds I like to have the input gain all of the way up. But when I do that with the clean sounds, that gives it all of the compression and it sounds way too squished. I like to run the compression about halfway. So I don't find it particularly useful unless you're toggling between clean 1 and clean 2 or edge and distortion mode. So anyway, the chorus I think sounds lush and amazing and is best enjoyed in stereo mode. I absolutely love it. There's a switch on the inside. It comes factory set to mono, so keep that in mind. So you've got to open up the back and then flick the switch from mono to stereo. Another couple of drawbacks with this are the price. It is a very expensive pedal. You do get a lot for your money. I mean, you get 2 different clean sounds, 2 different drive sounds, and a chorus. It doesn't have the echoes that the original had. That was, I think, a space-saving decision that they made. But also the availability of it as well. Well, at least at the time I bought this, it was very hard to get your hands on. There was a bit of a wait to get them. So I'm not sure if that's been cleared up yet. But yeah, it's expensive and hard to get. So if you really want one of these, you're going to have to wait for it probably. So please let me know in the comments below if you think this is a faithful recreation of the X100, and maybe let me know about your favorite albums and artists that use the original Rockman. I'd be really interested to find out. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. You can support this channel by going to the Middle Age Gear Junkie store and purchasing some merchandise, or you can also support me through Patreon, where I'm uploading additional content. Other than that, my name is Jason. Have a wonderful day. See you later.